Just like to welcome everybody, and it's a great opportunity to both participate and witness an ancient ceremony, the taking on training of one who's gone forth, one who's moving out of the in this case Anagārikas training, but moving toward a training in as a religious seeker, Sāmaṇera, literally it means one who is peaceful. Mostly it means one who's looking for peace. So that this taking on a training that one is say as a Anagārika, I've had all three of them have had a year of training as Anagārikas, which is that's a major renunciation already. But then to go forward into a deeper commitment to this monastic training, taking on the novice precepts. It has say externally wearing the brown robes of a very symbolizing a recognizable symbol of a Buddhist monastic, and so that there's a certain responsibility in taking that on. There's a commitment, and just that sense of having that symbol of being a Buddhist monastic in the world, particularly in the West, then it's being willing to take that on. When our Sangha community first went to live in the West, is in England, and mid-1970s, mid to late 1970s, still a very new phenomena, and there were people from the Buddhist Society of London, very old institution, and they came and knowing that there was a branch monastery of Ajahn Chah being established. At that time it was in London, and one of the questions was, you're not going to wear those robes outside, are you? And and Ajahn Chah said, yeah, of course. That's sort of the symbol of a Buddhist monastic, and being able to wear the robes and follow the traditions, even if it seems a bit maybe even archaic in a modern culture, it's an archetype, and I think the archetype of a religious seeker, the archetype of a renunciant is something that's quite important. And as it happened, at tea time I was talking to a few people and talking about the beginnings of our lineage in England, and but one of the things that happened, the monks used to go out on alms round every day. They were living in northern suburb of London, small kind of house, kind of cramped, and so going out on alms round every day was a break from having to be with each other. So it was, but they would go out on alms round every day. Oftentimes it'd be just off on Hampstead Heath. There wasn't anything regular happening. Nobody was actually putting anything in their bowls, but it was. And Ajahn Chah had sort of said, don't. Go out on alms round every day. I said, you're not going just to get food. You're going to present or to give that image to the world. But anyway, what did happen was after a year or year and a half of going alms round quite regularly, and a jogger stopped and talked with them. And he'd seen them, because he used to jog regularly, and he'd seen these monks, which he wasn't quite sure what they were. But then he was talking with them and sort of said, he was... he had this forest in West Sussex that he was looking for somebody to steward it, look after it. And then Ajahn Sāmaṇera said, "Oh, well, we're forest monks looking for a forest." And so it ended up after, the person drew close and came regularly, and then felt moved to offer the forest to the Sangha. So they were able to begin a forest monastery tradition in England. So it's bringing that symbol of renunciation, of simplicity, of living a life of integrity. The robes are a symbol of that, and so that it's personally one is seeking peace and understanding and some meaning in one's life, but one's also giving something back all the time in terms of that image or that reminder that there is something peaceful in this world. There is something that is of integrity. And similarly, just say like Abhayagiri, just naming the monastery Abhayagiri. Abhaya means, literally means fearless, so it's Giri is mountain, fearless mountain. It's a literal translation, but it's also fearless in the sense of a place without fear, a place of security, a place of safety. And I think that's something that is worthy of bringing into the world, this sense of security and safety. And because sentient beings, and not even just human beings, sentient beings we're very much fear-driven, and so that to be able to live in a way that has overtly setting aside fear and creating a place of safety, I think it's important. So that having religious seekers in the world, having people who are willing to make a commitment to a monastic training and to bring that refuge into the world, both for themselves as well as for others. I think it's a really important thing. So these three young men have, and I'm realizing just about everybody's young now. But they've been here and training and wish to continue their training. So I'm quite happy to facilitate that. So I think we can begin the ceremony for taking on the novice training. So you can come up onto your, just bow 3 times. Pick up your robes.
Savandami bhante sabbang aparadang kamatame bhante maya katang punyang samina anumoditabang samina katang punyang mayhang tatabang sadhu sadhu anumodami okasakarunyang katava Pabbajang te tame bhante.
Okay, if you come up and offer the robes, and I'll make sure that it's all there. Actually, I already know that it's all there because I helped put it together. But it's the way it's done. You make sure. Okay, and then go ahead and do the request formally.
Aham bhante pabbajang yachami dutiyam piyaham bhante Pabbajang yachami tatiyam piyaham bhante Pabbajang yachami sabba dukkha nissarana nibbana sacchikaranataya imam kasa vangahitva pabbajeta bhante anukampang upadaya sabba dukkha nissarana Nibbana sacchikaranataya imam kasa vangahitva pabbajeta bhante anukampang upadaya sabba dukkha nissarana nibbana sacchikaranataya imam kasa vangahitva pabbajeta bhante anukampang upadaya. Sabbha nissarana nibbana satchikaranataya etang kasavang tattva pabbājetamang bante anukampang upadaya sabbha dukkha nissarana nibbana satchikaranataya etang kasavang tattva pabbājetamang bante anukampang upadaya sabbha dukkha nissarana nibbana satchikaranataya etang kasavang tattva pabbājetamang bante anukampang upadaya.
Sit comfortable. Okay, so you have formally made the request and to take the training, to take the going forth. And also the chant that you did has an articulating of the aspiration that you're hopefully setting to cross over all dukkha in order to realize nibbana. And taking these robes, please, Venerable Sir, out of compassion, grant me the going forth. So that's it's a very beautiful aspiration and a very simple one. The Buddha's path of practice was a very direct one, and his teaching was one that was very direct in the sense of that to cross over all dukkha, cross over all suffering, and to realize nibbana. The Buddha laid out a path of practice that's very, very direct. It's like the most direct path between 2 points is a straight line, and so that this way of practice is actually very, very straight. And to pick up a training of relinquishment, of simplicity, of a commitment to living a life of integrity, this aspect of sila, path that the Buddha gives, sila, samadhi, panya, that is it is a very direct path, and particularly in monastic training, it makes it even more direct, which is sometimes you think, well, to cross over all dukkha, and so why is it so much suffering sometimes? But it's so much of it is we're so used to distraction and deflection that just having to be with ourselves, be with our minds, be with our habits and conditioning, it can be quite uncomfortable. But the training of learning how to use the form in a way that we're not distracting ourselves or not creating complications for ourselves is really a direct way of training for the freedom from dukkha. So to be picking up the training skillfully to realize that it's going to take. One is it takes time for a human mind to really change and transform. It takes time, and to be willing to be patient with the practice, patient with yourself, patient with each other, patient with the community. That sense of patience is not just blindly putting up with stuff, but being willing to say, bear with the present moment so that you can know it clearly. And that is where transformation takes place. Because again, we're so used to finding ways to distract ourselves. So to live this practice in a way that we're able to find a refuge, which is what the traditional instruction that the preceptor gives is one that emphasizes the value and function of the three refuges, and taking on and that really is the case for all of Buddha's practice, whether one's a lay person or a monastic, learning how to have a refuge in the qualities that Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha embody, rather than, again, I say, the habit that we have of taking refuge in just anything that is comfortable in the moment or is distracting at the time, and that having a refuge in the Buddha in terms of like in the Thai translation of the word Buddha is the one who knows, the awakened one, the radiant one. So taking refuge in the Buddha, not as a historical figure, although the historical figure is an exemplary being that we can turn back to, but in the present moment, the internal quality of how do we really come back and rely on this quality of knowing and knowing clearly, being the one who knows, recognizing that the nature of the human mind, the human heart, is to know things, is to know our experience, to know what is right and wrong, to know what is good and bad, to know what is peaceful and confusing. We actually do know that, and we usually disregard it or distract ourselves from it. So that coming back to this quality of being the one who knows, the awakened one, that quality that the primary meaning of the word Buddha is awake. And so that image of it's not as if we have to create some other some other Jeff or Dorian or Hector that is somehow the good one, the enlightened one, but we awaken to the quality within us already that is attuned to freedom from suffering. We have to wake up to it, and we all have that. It's not that we have to create it or make it or conjure it up somehow. It's just learning how. That's a lot of what the practice is. Just learning how to get out of the way, and that's what the training is for. So that giving ourselves the tools to do that. So this training, this practice is helping to give us the tools that give us a refuge in Buddha, in Dhamma, in Dhamma being truth, and that there are eternal truths that we can realize, we can understand, and that is what is being pointed to. It's one of the, like with this new chanting book that we have, there's one of the chants is pointing to one of the phrases, so whether a Buddha is born in the world or a Buddha is not born in the world, there is this truth of impermanence, whether of uncertainty, anicca, of change. Whether a Buddha appears in the world or a Buddha doesn't appear in the world, there is this truth of dukkha. There is this truth of not-self. These are fundamental truths that we practice to realize, to understand. So the tools are there to take Dhamma as refuge, and taking Sangha as refuge. Sangha as symbols of the community, but then symbols of integrity, of virtue, practicing well, practicing directly. So that too, picking this up as a refuge. As we do that, of course, then a lot of the encouragement is also to the internal training of the mind, the heart, the formal meditation itself, and this the ordination procedure, a part of it, and the next part of it will be the giving of the first Pali as kammatthana, so the first meditation object. And traditionally it's pointing to the body as a foundation for the meditation. And it might be so easy to doubt. Well, if I'm training my mind, why do I have to pay attention to my body? I just don't want to have to deal with my body, and which is exactly the reason. People don't want to deal with it and don't want to know, and then try to think themselves into freedom from suffering, which is usually not very successful, as an understatement. So that to pick up something tangible as an object of attention. The body is the most immediate examples of the traditional objects of contemplation of the body hair of the head, hair of the body, nails, teeth, and skin. Doing it back and forward and backward. In the Pali, Kesa, Loma, Naka, Danta, Tacho. And those are meditations that this is really from the very early years of the Buddha's dispensation that the Buddha encouraged the meditation and contemplations and mental development to be grounded in awareness of the body. A lot of it is because it's one, of course, because it's tangible, and so there's an ability to sustain attention on something that's a bit more tangible. And two, it's these are the things that we create our identity around, a sense of self, a sense of me. And especially these first 5 aspects of the body. It's like there's a traditional meditation on the 32 parts of the body, a reflection on the unattractive nature of the body. But then this is the beginning of it, but it's somewhat separate in the sense that these are what we both identify with as me, and that's also when we identify with other people. That's actually all we see. Hair of the head, hair of the body, nails, teeth, and skin. And then we start, okay, that's male, female, young, old, familiar, unfamiliar. I like them, I don't like them. And all of the whole gamut of ways that we proliferate around who we are and who we're interacting with. Hair of the head, hair of the body, nails, teeth, and skin. It's not that complicated. And we're good at making it complicated, but it really isn't all that complicated. And it's not in a sense of dismissing, in the sense of just being able to push it away because you can put a box on it and say, hair of the head, hair of the body, all of our religion. But it's more like, how do we pull back from that habit of identification and reactivity? And that's a skillful means to facilitate that, to support that. So I will give you your robes, and then you can formally take the Gamatana. Okay, so you can repeat after me. Kesa,
Kesa,
Loma,
Loma,
Naka,
Naka,
Danta,
Danta,
Tacho,
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 Danta,
Danta,
Naka,
Naka,
Loma,
Loma,
Kesa.
Kesa.
Okay, you can go out and put on your robes and then come back to formally take your training precepts. And if a few monks could give a hand to, go ahead. Monks could give a hand to help them with the robes. They're spiffy when they come back. Not certain. Great. I think we were going to. I don't know if it actually is. Great. Thank you for doing that. Good to hard enough dealing with new robes, tray, and then trying to get the sitting cloth out. Have you ever had three ordained as novices? Yeah, I don't think so. I'm just sort of thinking, I don't think we've ever had 3 ordained as novices.
Did Louis not go into novice? Because it was the 3 of them.
I think there was they were the 3 Anagārikas, but I don't think they
He ordained his Sāmaṇera not maybe, but did not continue to cultivate immigration.
Okay. What group was that? Who else was in that group?
Guṇavīro was senior, then Sāmaṇera and then Guṇavīro.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. They've had 3 seminars. We'll see if they make it to Bhikkhus. That would be the first for that. We're having a lot of firsts with this hall. This is the first Sāmaṇera ordination we've held in the new hall. It's nice to have a bit of space. always say you're a bit cramped in having ceremonies in the old hall. You managed to deal with it for 20 years, but 20 years is enough. This is our opportunity to exercise patience. They're putting on they've been practicing to put their robes on, but it takes a while to get proficient at it.
Jeff was in Honduras and Hector of Mexico, so the first ancestors belonging from North America. So.
usually when they have the novices ordain and during the ceremony, especially with this change in the robes, we'll have sort of tie a sash around to help hold the robes on. And they were keen to do without the sash. And I was teasing them. I said, "Well, yeah, I didn't do that, but I'll bet the other monks will start taking bets on how long it takes for the robes to fall off. It's sort of not so much will they fall off, but sort of how long will it take." It's all very new. That's what's taking them so long. This one, yeah. But it's it is a means of creating simplicity in that sense. How do you make a clothing out of a few rectangles of cloth? That's all it is. It's just sort of rectangles of cloth which you wrap around you in different ways, and it works.
And two of the Sāmaṇeras sewed their sarongs this time, which is usually you get the sarong out of stores. But
Oh, that's true too. Yeah, yeah. We didn't have anything in stores, so that they usually they get to rely on some of the things that are in the stores, so they don't have to learn how to sew until they become monks. And that for two of them were forced into crash course in sewing, and they did great. I would say, like right now, the two novices are deep in the sewing of their three triple robes. So that's one of the things that, or the novices before they take their big ordination, they'll sew their set of robes. So like an underrobe, this robe, and in the double thickness robe. There. The rumor is they're doing great. How far are you along? You're working on your Sanghatis. You've got your sabongs, and you got your G1s, or two, and you just started your Sanghatis. Okay, great. That'll be. That's very hopeful. Won't turn into a frantic rush at the end.
Savandami bante sabang aparadang kamatame bante maya katang punyang samina anumoditabang samina katang punyang maihang databang sadhu Sadhu Anumodami Okasakarunyam Katava Tissaranena Saha Silani Deta Me Bhante.
Come forward with the offerings. Say that they've come forward with the traditional offerings, candles, incense, and flowers. And there's other offerings on the tray. But they say the traditional offerings are the candles, incense, and flowers, which are oftentimes in terms of referring to something or symbolizing something. Symbolizing sila, samadhi, panya, the virtue, concentration, wisdom, and that the sila is oftentimes referred to as like flowers, in the sense of there isn't anything that is of more, say, fragrance. Then the most fragrant flower, what is more fragrant than that is virtue, because it goes in all directions. Usually a fragrance of a flower will go in just one direction, wherever the wind's blowing. Samadhi, in terms of incense, because when you burn incense, there's always one point where the incense is burning, so that refers to that sort of one-pointed aspect of the possibility of the mind to one point on an object. And the candles are oftentimes the symbol of wisdom, in the sense of bringing light into the world. So that these are reminders of what one is working towards, aspiring towards. So making these offerings are a traditional way. Also, this is something they didn't make themselves. The flower arrangement these days, monks are spoiled. We've got sort of the apple, the flower deva, making the whoop. Okay, we got more devas. More devas appearing, helping with flowers. It's always you can usually tell when the monks do it themselves. It's functional. Not usually so beautiful, but it's quite lovely. But again, it's sort of like the ordination as an opportunity for it, just in the same way that so many people have come together. So different people can help in so many different ways, and it's already, again, ordination is it's not just about, say, one's own personal. I'm going to go be a novice or a monk, and I don't have to deal with anybody else. But it's more like, especially in the Theravada practice is one of very much the Buddha wanting to bring this for the benefit of the many folk. Okay, so you can Bow 3 times. Where you feel it? Yeah, go ahead. Make the request.
Ahang bante sarana silang yachami dutiyam piyahang bante sarana silang yachami tatiyam piyahang bante sarana silang yachami.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Yatmahang vadhami dhammo dehi.
Okasahama bhante.
Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi.
Buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi.
Dhammang saranang gacchāmi.
Dhammam saranam gacchāmi.
Sanghang saranang gacchāmi.
Sangham saranam gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi dhammam saranam gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi sangham saranam gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi dhammam saranam gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi sangham saranam gacchāmi.
Tissaro gamanang nitithang.
Okasahama bhante.
Okay, you've taken the 3 refuges, refuge in Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, and in reality that's actually what constitutes the ordination. But determine to clearly take on your precepts, your training precepts, for the living the life of a Sāmaṇera, and maintaining that commitment to harmlessness, honesty, and restraint. In these precepts help one to give a container for. Anatipata Vairamani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Panatipata Vairamani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Adinādana Vairamani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Adinādana Vairamani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Abrahmacharya Vairamani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Abrahmacharya Vairamani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Musāvāda Vairamani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Musāvāda Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Sura Meraya Majapamadatana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Sura Meraya Majjapamadatthana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Oikala Bhojana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Vikala Bhojana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Nachakita Vadita Visugadasana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Nacha Gita Vadita Visukatasana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Malakanda Vilepana Dharana Mandana Vibhusanatthana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Mala Ganda Vilepana Dharana Mandana Vibhusanatthana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Uchasayana Mahasayana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Uchasayana Mahasayana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Chatarupa Rajata Patikahana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Jatarupa Rajatapatikahana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Emane dasa sikkhapadani samadhiyami.
Okasa amabante Imani dasa sikkhapadani samadhiyami. Imani dasa sikkhapadani samadhiyami. Imani dasa sikkhapadani samadhiyami.
About 3 times. Sit up here. Okay, so those are the precepts, foundation for training, having, these are refuges and precepts, those are the fundamental foundation for all Buddhists. But particularly you're focusing your attention on being novices, and it has a particular form. You've got, say, the robes of a Buddhist monastic. You have certain duties to perform in terms of being one who lives on alms food. One's living a life of simplicity. Having the sort of relinquishing the use of money, being dependent on the generosity of others, and that has a responsibility to that in terms of living monastic training with integrity when one is and depending on the goodwill of others. One is very directly responsible for using the requisites skillfully, living in a skillful way. It brings to mind a teaching of the Buddha's, which it's a discourse that he gave, which is on the noble lineage, Aryavamsa, in that sense of what is it that constitutes this lineage of nobility, being an Arya, one who is seeking the fruits of the path of the Buddha's teachings, and the Buddha defined it in terms of as a monastic being content with one's robes, and in that sense of not seeking in unskillful ways the robe material, not being too fussy, not being too acquisitive, not being greedy, but being content with whatever robe one has been given, and then also in that same sense of having been given one's robes, one looks after it, looking after the requisites that one has been given. And the Buddha says the same thing for say the requisites of alms food, the requisites of lodging, that one is this aspect of contentment, cultivating contentment, dwelling in contentment, finding ways to be content with the simplicity of our life and on a material level, and that's really important. It's also, say, radical. We're not very good consumers, so that is being content with what one is given. And then the last quality that the Buddha points to in terms of contentment is contentment with the inner cultivation, in the sense of contentment with the unskillful, unwholesome qualities that one is relinquishing. I'm being content with there is this unskillful tendency, there is this unwholesome aspect, and not to be holding on to it, cherishing it, or acquiescing to it, but content to relinquish it, content to relinquish the unwholesome, and then contentment in the cultivation of the wholesome, contentment in the happiness that comes from the relinquishing of the unwholesome and the cultivation of the wholesome. That's our happiness is because there's many forms of happiness, but to be content with the happiness that comes with dwelling in what is wholesome, is skillful, is that which is devoted to the path of practice. And in all four of those, in terms of again this aspect of the being of a noble lineage, the Buddha also points to the sense of self in that within that contentment, one's content with the requisites, content with the commitment to what is wholesome and skillful, but also content to not be caught by the tendency to lift oneself up and put down others because of that contentment. In that sense of, oh, I'm so content. And he's not. That it's not very noble. So that it's a part of that training. So that our training gives us an inner refuge, and to be able to use the form in that way. Also, say the next part of the ceremony will be a taking of dependence, and dependence on myself as the teacher, but I think in a broader sense, really taking dependence on the community, having the senior monks as guides, Ajahn Ajahn Kasapo, the other members of the community that are experienced, who've been here and have trained, so that to rely on the experience of others, and it's a taking of dependence, is because there is a certain element, I think, even in particularly in this country, of sort of the independent, do it myself, and it's just a lot easier to learn from others who've actually done it, and to draw close to those who have experience and can help to give encouragement and guidance, and so to taking that spirit of dependence seriously, and in this, say in the ceremony or in the formula of it, there, after asking for dependence and then myself saying, okay, it's suitable, it's proper, you should endeavor to conduct yourself in a good manner, then you continue to clarify the statement that from this day onwards, there's a sense of mutual responsibility, that you will I'll be looking after you, you'll be looking after me. Mutual burdens. I mean, it's actually paharo, as ajati tani telo, maihang baro, ahapi telo, sabaro bara, is burden. So that, not to be burdensome, but realizing that there's a responsibility there, and so picking it up lightly, but carrying it seriously. That it's one is committing to a relationship of training and living in a way that is requires some commitment and effort. So, go ahead.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Acharyo me bhante hohi ayasamato nisaya vachami. Acharyo me bhante hohi ayasamato nisaya vachami. Acharyo me bhante hohi ayasamato nisaya vachami.
Opayikam
Sadhu bhante.
Hati Rupang
Sadhu bhante.
Ha Sadikena Sambhadehi
Sadhu bhante. Antatagedani tero mayham haro aham bitera sabaro. Ajatagedani tero mayham haro aham bitera sabaro. Ajatagedani tero mayham haro aham bitera sabaro.
Okay, so that completes the ordination, and so welcome you all into the Sangha, and formally give you your names, your Pali names, and so former Anagārikas Jeff, Guṇavīro, which means one who is undaunted in goodness. Guna is goodness, virtue, and Vira is sort of like undaunted, brave, daring, dare to do good. So that's and former Anagārikas Dorian. Tissaro, one who recollects the triple gem, one who has the triple gem as a recollection, as a basis. So that's a good one. And then Anagārikas Hector, Ṭhitasukho, one with stable happiness. So these names are names that we can live by, we can aspire to, we can remind ourselves what we're supposed to be doing. So that, like Ṭhitasukho is, Thita is to be firmly established. Unlike Upaliyam is Thita Dhamma, so it's one he's firmly established in Dhamma. Ṭhitasukho, firmly established, stable in happiness. So that all of these names are something to work towards and use the training to bring into being. I think we can call it a night. So conclude. Maybe we could end with the dedication of blessings. And I think it's on 34 or something. 33, page 33, in the darker chanting book. Now let us chant the verses of sharing and aspiration.
Through the goodness that arises from my practice, may my spiritual teachers and guides of great virtue, my mother, my father, and my relatives, the sun and the moon, and all virtuous leaders of the world, may the highest gods and evil forces, celestial beings, guardian spirits of the earth, and the Lord of death, may those who are friendly, indifferent, or hostile, may all beings receive the blessings of my life. May they soon attain the threefold bliss and realize the deathless through the goodness that arises from my practice. And through this act of sharing, may all desires and attachments quickly cease, and all harmful states of mind, until I realize Nibbana in every kind of birth. May I have an upright mind, with mindfulness and wisdom, austerity and vigor. May the forces of delusion not take hold, nor weaken my resolve. The Buddha is my excellent refuge. Unsurpassed is the protection of the Dhamma. The solitary Buddha is my noble guide. The Sangha is my supreme support. Through the supreme power of all these, may darkness and delusion be dispelled. And Blessed One, I render homage to the Buddha, the Blessed One. The teachings so completely explained by him, I bow to the Dhamma. The Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, I bow to the Sangha.